I thought my boyfriend was cheating, but the truth was something I never expected. Hey Reddit, I've been keeping this bottled up for a while, and I need to vent. My boyfriend, Jake, and I have been together for 2 years. He's the kind of guy everyone loves, sweet, funny, thoughtful, and he's always gone out of his way to make me feel like I'm his priority. Our friends constantly tell us we're couple goals, and I thought so too. Until a few weeks ago. It started small. I noticed his phone buzzing more than usual, especially late at night. When I casually asked about it, he'd just smile and say, "Oh, it's work stuff. Nothing important." At first, I didn't think much of it. Jake works in project management, so weird hours and sudden messages aren't out of the ordinary. But then there were the errands. Every weekend for the past month, he'd leave for an hour or two with vague excuses like, "I just have some stuff to take care of." He's never been secretive before, but now, when I asked what he was doing, he'd change the subject or give short, unconvincing answers. I started feeling off. The tipping point came when I saw a text flash on his phone while we were watching a movie. It was from unknown, and all it said was, "Asterisk, when are you going to tell her?" Asterisk, my stomach dropped. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but my mind was racing. Who was texting him? And what was he supposed to tell me? I decided I needed answers, so last Saturday, when Jake said he was running errands again, I followed him. He drove to a small cafe on the other side of town, a place we'd never been to together. I parked a few spaces away and watched as he went inside and sat down with a woman I didn't recognize. She looked about our age, and they were talking quietly. I couldn't hear them, but their body language made me feel sick. Jake looked tense, like he was trying to explain something. Then, I saw him slide an envelope across the table to her. She took it, and they talked a little more before she got up and left. I sat in my car, completely numb. My heart was pounding, and a million thoughts were racing through my head. Was he cheating? Was she blackmailing him? Who was this woman? When he got home later, I couldn't hold it in. I confronted him. "Who is she, Jake? Why are you meeting another woman behind my back?" His face went pale. "You followed me?" he asked, looking more surprised than angry. I told him I had to because I couldn't ignore all the weird behavior anymore. He sighed, sat down, and said, "Okay, you deserve the truth." What he told me was nothing like what I expected. The woman wasn't some secret girlfriend or mistress. She was his sister, his estranged sister. He explained that they hadn't spoken in years because of issues in their family, things he never told me about. Their parents had a messy divorce when Jake was a teenager, and his sister had gotten caught up in a lot of bad decisions, including substance abuse and financial trouble. She'd recently reached out to him, asking for help. She was trying to get her life together, but was deep in debt and scared she'd fall back into old habits. The envelope he gave her? It was cash to help her pay rent and stay afloat while she looked for work. "I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to see this side of my family," he said. I was ashamed, and I didn't know if she'd stick around or disappear again. I didn't want to drag you into it. I sat there, stunned. On one hand, I was relieved he wasn't cheating. On the other hand, I felt betrayed in a different way. Why hadn't he trusted me enough to tell me about his sister? Why let me spiral into doubt and paranoia instead of being honest? We talked for hours that night. I told him how hurt I was by the secrecy, and he admitted he should have handled it differently. He promised to be more open moving forward, and he even offered to let me meet his sister if I wanted to. It's been a few weeks since then, and I'm still processing everything. Part of me feels guilty for assuming the worst, but another part of me struggles with the fact that he didn't trust me with something so important. Jake's been trying to make up for it. He's been completely transparent, and I can tell he feels bad about how it all went down. I met his sister last week, and she seems genuine. She even thanked me for understanding and said she doesn't want to cause trouble in Jake's life anymore. I love Jake, and I want to move past this, but rebuilding trust isn't easy. I'm trying, though, because I know his heart was in the right place, even if his actions weren't. Anyway, Reddit, have you ever been in a situation like this? How do you rebuild trust after something like this? Am I overreacting, or is it normal to feel conflicted? I'd love some advice.